Mailbag time here on the Chiefs Report. I am Harrison Graham, and on today's show, it's what I just said, mailbag time. We'll answer your questions. So use hashtag Chiefs, or if you super chat, you can get your questions in first. So load them up, and we will get after it. Shout out to MDB with the $5 super chat. Where do you think we go in the draft this year? I would like a defensive end, but offensive tackle, wide receiver seems to be what we are mocked to. I do like all those positions, right? Right tackle is still something that's a mystery moving forward. Does this organization still believe in Lucas Niang as a potential right tackle long term? I don't know. Do you bring back Andrew Wiley? Is Orlando Brown back? I mean, I think that's very much up for grabs. I would like a pass rusher as well. Receivers a potential option though. Juju, Mecole Hardman, both free agents. So yeah, I mean, it'll depend what happens in free agency with guys like Juju and Orlando Brown, but we'll see what happens. I mean, you never know how the draft is going to fall. Chiefs will have their big board, and then they'll make a decision. From Prankster J, Chiefs Chargers in the playoffs. Could it happen? It could happen first round. Really, it could. Here's how it could happen first round. If the Chargers are the 7 seed, like let's say they lost on Monday night, if you're watching this later in the week, let's say hypothetically they lost to the Colts, which is a long shot, but let's just say that happened. Miami passes them in the standings. If the Chiefs are the 2 seed, they could play them in the first round. Even if they're the 6 seed, which is what they're most likely going to be, the Chiefs could fall to the 3 seed and play them in the first round. Here's how that can happen. If Cincinnati beats Buffalo, right? So all 3 teams would potentially have the same record then if Kansas City won or lost one of its final 2 games. Chiefs could be the 3 seed in that scenario, then they could play them there. They could play them after the first round, but in terms of first round, that's how they could play them. But, yeah, they absolutely could play in the playoffs. There's no doubt about it. R. Jr., Steve Spagnuolo always gives up big plays, and their secondary is not good overall. Brett Veach should fire Spags when he had the chance last year. I actually think Andy Reid has the authority to fire or keep Spags. I don't think Brett Veach is overriding Reid on that decision. So I think you're looking in the wrong place. But I will say this. I thought Kansas City played one of its best games of the year defensively against Seattle. I know it was cold, but Geno Smith has had a really good year, and they held him in check. They shut down the run. So I was pretty pleased with how that game went. Overall, it's been up and down, let's be honest, but I think that was a step in the right direction. From Billy Smith, if Eric Bieniemy gets a head coaching job, who will replace him as OC? I mean, the internal candidate would be Matt Nagy, right? That's a guy Andy Reid trusts. I don't love Nagy, especially as a play caller, but he and Mahomes get along well. They like each other. Andy Reid trusts him, so that could be a possibility. You could go external. Here's a curveball. Cliff Kingsbury gets fired in Arizona. Who was Patrick Mahomes' college head coach? Cliff Kingsbury. I think that's very much a possibility if Kingsbury is not in Arizona. Don't get me wrong. I would not do this, but he had a great reputation before this year. Nate Hackett is OC. Some guys are bad head coaches. That doesn't mean they're bad coordinators. I'm not saying I would do it. I would not with how bad this year went in Denver, but I do think Hackett's going to get a chance to be a play caller somewhere. I mean, he was highly touted when he got that Denver job. Will Eric Bieniemy get a head coaching job this offseason? Prediction time. Type Y for yes, type N for no. I mean, history says no, so that's probably what I would guess, but let me know what you guys think. Y for yes, N for no. Will EB finally get his chance? Hashtag Chiefs for Super Chat. Get your questions in. Jay Klein says, any updates on Mecole Hardman? Sounds like he was close to playing last week, but as we're filming this live on Monday, no updates, but depending on when you're watching this, he could be activated. I think there's a good chance he'll play this week. Deldrick Smith, do we keep Justin Reid next year? I think so, but he hadn't been very good, let's be honest. He's been pretty average. Like, he hasn't been a disaster, but wouldn't say he's been good either. Like, I'd say he's been better than a Dan Sorensen, but definitely worse than a Tyrann Mathieu. So I think Juan Thornhill's been the better player this year. He's a free agent. Does he return? We'll see. But, yeah, the Justin Reid acquisition has not paid off so far. From Ryan, thanks for the super chat, my friend. Who would replace Orlando Brown if we lose him? I mean, obviously you'd have to go draft a free agency, right? I mean, I don't think you have an internal option that would replace him. So you're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place because Orlando Brown is not probably the level of player that you thought when you trade for him, but he's still overall an above-average player. I don't think he's bad, although he's been bad at some points, but he's also not a guy you reset the market with. I don't think you can do that. So that's why I've said it, and I'll continue to say it. I think franchise tag for the second straight year is probably going to be the most likely scenario, and then we'll see after 2023, but I think anything's on the table when it comes to Orlando Brown. Bill Chase, have the Chiefs ever used 3 running backs? You always ask this question, Bill Chase. I don't know. Do you know? You've been asking me this question for like 2 years. I don't know the answer. I'm guessing probably yes. Probably at some point, there's, Priest Holmes, Larry Johnson, and someone else were on the field at the same time. So, I don't know. Good trivia question. BetUS sponsoring today's show. We appreciate them as they are our sportsbook partner here at Chat Sports. And not too late to get going and bet on some games this year as we got the rest of the final 2 weeks of the NFL, college bowl games rolling along, plus the playoffs are going to be here too soon as well. Create an account today at chatsports.com/ChiefsBet. Use our promo code Chiefs125 to get a 125% deposit bonus. Here are the updated MVP odds per BetUS. Patrick Mahomes, heavy favorite. Joe Burrow plus 700. Josh Allen plus 900. Jalen Hurts plus 1,000. If you're feeling good about one of these guys, Mahomes, you got to bet $40 just to win 10. But if you feel very good about him, hey, throw $400 down, you'll get 100 back. Chatsports.com/ChiefsBet. Use the promo code Chiefs125. XJG, where do you see Andy Reid in 3 years? I still think there's a good chance he's coaching this team. I mean, Andy Reid, I should have this memorized by now. He's what, 62, 63, 64, so 3 years he'd be 67. I mean, Belichick's 70. I could see Andy Reid being a guy that coaches into his 70s. I mean, he signed, that 5-year deal recently, whatever it was. So I still think there's a good chance he's this team's head coach in 3 years. Tony Fuentes, will we win out? Should, right? I mean, Denver at home, they just fired their coach. Oh, and by the way, the guy they promoted, I mean, this just adds to the humor. The guy Denver promoted to be the interim head coach was the quality game control man that Nate Hackett brought in after his poor game management the first couple of games of the season. In other words, a guy that was on his couch in early September. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So you play that team, Denver, and then you go to Vegas. I mean, you should beat Vegas, let's be honest. Like, the Raiders are a mess. They're not as big of a mess as Denver. They almost beat the Chiefs last time. They usually play Kansas City well, but Chiefs should win their last 2 games. From Tom, Orlando Brown makes the Pro Bowl, but Bolton gets snubbed. Do you feel that eats at some players when the Pro Bowl gets announced? I do think it does, and a lot of the reason is some players have, bonuses tied to the Pro Bowl, which is stupid. Like, if you're a agent, you should not have Pro Bowl stuff be tied into player contracts because the Pro Bowl voting system is trash. So, I mean, Nick Bolton should have been a Pro Bowler. Orlando Brown should not have been. So it just goes to show that the Pro Bowl is not legitimate. From Larry Johnson, do you think the Chiefs can beat the Bengals in a rematch? They absolutely can. Now, they got to prove it, right? I mean, they've lost 3 straight to Cincinnati, all high-leverage games. Week 17 last year, huge game proceeding. Chiefs lost it, got the 2 seed instead of the 1 seed. AFC Championship game, big lead late in the first half, give up a late touchdown, couldn't score on that last drive in the first half, melted down in the second half. This year, had a million chances to win it, couldn't do so. So I don't know if it's going to be some mental hindrance, but the Bengals have the Chiefs' number right now. They do. The Chiefs absolutely can beat them, and I would say should beat them, but they got to go out and prove it. Now, who do you guys think is the best AFC team this year? Type BUF for the Bills, KC for the Chiefs, CIN for the Bengals. All 3 of these teams vying for the number 1 seed in the AFC. Let us know what you guys think. Also, help us reach 35,000 subscribers as we're less than 300 away. I know there's 300 Chiefs fans that watch these videos that haven't subscribed yet. It's 100% free. Join us. You will not regret it. Turn on those notifications as well. Free videos just about every single day. News, rumors, playoff updates, previews, post-game shows, live shows. We do it all here at the Chiefs Report, so hit that sub button. Chad Jamison, besides Mahomes, do you think any other Kansas City player has a shot at an award this year? You know, Travis Kelce has a small chance at Offensive Player of the Year, but that's probably going to go to Justin Jefferson. I can't remember. If they do AFC and NFC, then Kelce could win it in the AFC, but Jefferson might have a 2,000-yard season. So I think Chris Jones has an outside shot at Defensive Player of the Year, but again, I think that goes to Nick Bosa probably. So a couple guys who have a chance. You know, I don't think any of the rookies are up for Rookie of the Year or anything like that. So small chance, but probably not overall. From RJ, if the Chiefs made the Super Bowl, who would it be? Would it be the 49ers again or some other team? Could be the Niners. I mean, it'd be crazy if Brock Purdy took them to the Super Bowl, but that defense is loaded. And by the way, the Niners have not lost since the Chiefs hung 45 on them. They've won 8 in a row, so they're red hot. I think it's one of 3 teams in the NFC. I think it's either San Francisco, Philadelphia, or Dallas. I know we like to clown on the Cowboys, but they still have a talented team. Now, their defense has started to slip a bit because they've had injuries in the secondary, but they got Micah Parsons on that side. They got CeeDee Lamb. When Dak is hot, he's a capable quarterback. They can run the football with Zeke and Tony Pollard. So I think it's one of those 3 teams. I don't see another NFC team. I mean, could the Packers sneak in and get on a run? I guess, but I don't see Aaron Rodgers and that offense beating that Niners defense. I'd be surprised if that happened. Last one on this mailbag from Tony. What are the chances the Chiefs get OBJ? We're in week 17 now. I think it's done. I don't think OBJ signs at this point in time. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But, I mean, usually when you sign with a team, it takes at least a week or 2 to ramp up. So I know he made that comment of, I don't need to play in the regular season. But it's like, what team is going to sign him without seeing him play? I don't know. I think he doesn't sign, and I think he signs with the team this offseason. Appreciate you guys for watching today's Chiefs Report. If we missed your question or if you have another one, hit me up on social media at HGramNFL on Twitter and on Instagram. Same handle for both platforms at HGramNFL. Hit me up on social if you have any more Chiefs questions.